There's
are here.
sunshine outside. Are you so excited?
I'm excited, sort of, because when it's sunny, I go outside and do some yard work. So this morning, I was actually cutting up that tree that had fallen from
Yeah.
our neighbors onto our yard.
Yeah. There's a lot of branches back there.
Oh, man.
We're going to have to contact the owner and just talk about how she'd like to handle those branches.
How does that all work? So if it's your neighbor's tree and it falls on your property, do you say, hey, you got a tree over here, come pick it up?
Well, that's what I'm going to say. But when it comes to tree trimming, if the branches are hanging over your side of the fence, you can certainly trim the branches that are on your side. But when it's the whole tree falling over, obviously we don't want to put all of that in our yard waste bin. It's not gonna
I
fit.
did. I put
It's a whole tree worth.
I put as much as I could, and that was my morning wake up and I guess outdoor activity.
Oh, wow. Look at you. Outdoor activity already checked off the box.
Yeah, that's it.
I was at an appraiser appointment this morning out in Oakview, and I'm driving up the 33, and the mountains have snow on them, and the morning light is shining through the trees, and there's some like low-level clouds that aren't to the top of the mountain. They're just kind of like hovering. It felt like it just was picturesque driving up there this morning, and I'm so thankful that I have a property up there for sale right now because I get to enjoy that view and that beauty. And the gal that came out, she said, "Wow, this is just so picturesque up here, so beautiful." She's loving the views and the morning light and all the birds chirping.
The appraiser?
Yeah.
So tell her to praise it up. Okay, honestly, do you think that makes a big difference? Like what you just described and, the appraiser, yes, they'll go by the comps. Yes, they'll do all that stuff. But if they have a really good experience, does it go up? Or like, let's say it's a bad experience. Like somebody comes up and says, hey, give me your purse. Does it all, like the appraisal all of a sudden tanks?
Yeah. Well, I think that appraisers are professionals and that shouldn't sway their opinion. But I did have an appraiser that was in a really bad mood and was going to be moving out of state because he absolutely hated California. And that appraisal came in very low. So we had another appraisal not that long after, and it came in fine. So.
Yeah, I always wonder that. So talking about the Ojai area, I'm really into this water thing, like, and I was studying some water and I was like looking up stuff and I was looking up springs, natural springs. There's a natural spring up there that we're going to have to drive up and get some natural spring
We'll
water.
have to video it for everybody because it sounds so cool. A friend of mine sent it to me before.
And you never said anything.
No, because I thought you would think I was crazy.
You're crazy.
And then when you send me stuff, I'm like, okay, we're on board. Okay, we're going to go.
Oh, I see. So it's like one of those things. Your friend sends it to
Yeah.
you and is like, yeah, hesitant. And then I send it to you and then it's like, oh, that's two.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I have another appointment with another appraiser out in Camarillo today, so we're not going today.
Yeah. Well, and it has to be sunny, so we got to wait until at least tomorrow, for that to happen.
I know, it's going to rain again this afternoon.
Well, so they say. I mean, it's pretty gosh darn clear. I think they said like 5 o'clock or when I
Yeah,
looked.
evening.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
Because a lot of that stuff is a little hokey pokey. Okay,
And
keep
you
talking.
turn
I'm
yourself
going to go
around.
get something.
Okay, so
Now I'm back.
oh, good. I was just going to say that both properties, the buyers have been doing a slew of investigations. With a typical property, you've got a home inspection, you may do a sewer line inspection, you may do a termite inspection. And that's kind of the run of the mill, as far as inspections. But both of these buyers have gone above and beyond, and they're getting extra inspections, not because anything is necessarily inherently that bad with the property, but they really want to be informed. And both properties are taking on a lot. They're both going to need a remodel, most likely. So these buyers are doing a really good job of knowing what they're getting into. So I applaud them. I will say though, sometimes when you over inspect a property, and I'm not saying they're over inspecting, but when you know too much, and it becomes like so much more logical, and then you're just very left brain, and then you end up talking yourself out of the property. I've seen that happen before too. And then they get out of it, and then their emotions go, what was I thinking? I do really want the house. So I've seen people go into escrow, then fall out of escrow, and then they go back into escrow. Same buyer, same property. It's pretty funny, but you have to make sure that a property works for you. So don't feel like you're, pressured into buying something because of the market, but also know that there may not be another property like that for a while. Like we still have low inventory. So you just gotta weigh the pros and cons there.
The one that blows me away is a lot of people can't see stuff. So we've gone and looked at properties where the foundation is just cracked to high heaven, and you're just like, I'm not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole, due to the fact that yes, you can redo the foundation, yes, you can do all that stuff, but why did it crack in the first place? You start thinking about that stuff. So yes, you can fix it, but why did it do that? And then we've been in areas where it's just like every single house, the driveway has cracks in it and so forth. And it's just like, wow, it's just a shifty area. But then I'll come across this property lately, and I'll send it to all my friends, and they'll immediately, oh man, that's a full tear down. That's a whole thing. And I'm like, no, not even close.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to me because the guys who are the multi-million-dollar investors, that already have, not that, this is what they want to be. They're living on the water. You knew who I'm talking about. They'll drive by it and just be like, oh my gosh, this is gold.
Good investment. Yeah.
Yeah. And, and appraisers will drive by it that I know, and they'll do the same thing. They'll be like, this is gold. But then I send it to somebody that I'm like, oh, this is a no-brainer.
You'll send it to the person that says they're an investor.
Or wants to invest.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, it just blows me away. But
some of those projects aren't for the faint of heart. They aren't for the first-time investor.
No, 100% not. But that's the whole thing, is that's why there's so much equity possibility on the table, is because of that.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I'm a big fan of finding a place that has been completely remodeled and getting a deal on that. So for example, if it's $1 million property, and then, you wait until the market stalls a little bit and they're willing to let it go at 20%. Okay. Instead of having a property where
20% off.
20% off.
Not for $200,000.
No, exactly. That's funny. But the opposite of that is right now, this property
20% more.
It's way down at the very, very bottom. So, everybody's bottom feeding.
Yeah.
And they get so emotional, and they'll spend 20% more than it really should be.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of that. So then, you take a house that's like $600,000-700,000, and then all of a sudden you got a bidding war, and it goes up to 9. Whereas if you just bought it at the right time and waited for the market to